This is the finished product, and guys, it smells so good. What? You don't need to keep using sesame seed just for tahini and dips. You can cook with it, and it's so good. The full video will tell you all about it. Hey YouTube, welcome to a new video. How are you doing? Thank you so much for clicking in. If it's your first time meeting me, my name is Mecca. I live in the south of England. I grow most of my vegetables. And once upon a time, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and chronic pain. Thanks to God and life-giving foods, I've been able to heal my body and reverse these conditions. You can follow me on Instagram, and also please subscribe. I know you haven't watched me yet, but we are making a healthy version of some things. I had to modify a lot of my food as a result of this journey. Now, I'm not a conventional cook. I'm not a chef. I love and I enjoy cooking. And I try to make it as healthy and anti-inflammatory as possible. So for instance, rice, I try to incorporate more vegetables. My cameraman doesn't want to help me today, so I'm on my own. Anywho, okay, let's go on. Now, sesame seeds are really delicious, nutritious, high in calcium and other minerals, magnesium and stuff. But then it's a bit tricky. The only way most people eat them is either in tahini or in Nigeria, West Africa, we have a bene seed soup, which is like a melon soup, but sesame seeds are used. I want to show you how you can incorporate it into making like a curry or a sauce or gravy, whatever you want to call it, or stew. We are also going to be using tamarind. Tamarind boasts so many health benefits, okay? It's actually anti-cancer, and that is based on research. Obviously, I don't think cooking it has those properties because cooking it degrades some of the vitamin C, but it's full of polyphenols, antioxidants, and actually so many anti-inflammatory properties. So we made tamarind paste. If you haven't seen, I have a little shot on tamarind paste or sauce. That's what it looks like. It's just a little, just taking the seed out of tamarind and a bit liquidy. And now I have also sesame butter, paste, whatever you want to call it. This is just essentially blended sesame seeds and a bit of sesame oil. That's all. You can buy this in the shop. So if you don't want to make it yourself, you can go ahead and buy it. Now, this is what sesame seeds look like. Let me show you. This is how they come, okay? These are toasted. I have dehulled them myself. You can buy the ones that are dehulled. The hull, which is like the outer covering, makes it a little bit more bitter. Anyway, stay with me. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of background about what we're using, the ingredients. And these are what tamarinds are. Drop that one. These are tamarind pods, okay? And this is what it looks like inside. If you haven't seen my shots, that's what it looks like when you break the pod. I just have to see what I'm doing. Okay, that's the pod broken, and you have this nice, soft, juicy, fruit or flesh that you can actually enjoy as it comes. I actually prefer eating it like that, but it adds something to your curry. So it adds some sweetness and a little bit of sour, but not too sour, if you get what I mean. Anyway, so the ingredients we'll be using are those main things. And then obviously for our curry base, we've got onions, peppers, and I grew this. I'm so happy. I grew this. So I just harvested these this morning. This is broccoli stalk. This was not this morning. So I don't throw my broccoli stalk away. I use it in my cooking. And we can just add some vegetables, whatever vegetables you have. I'll show you the vegetables I have later on, but whatever vegetables you have, absolutely fine. So today I'm using fennel, I'm using a bit of cabbage, peppers, and what else? Some carrots, leftover veg, whatever I have in the fridge, really. So, and also the star, because we're not using any animals, we're using mushrooms. So I'll show you what the mushrooms are like. And these are high vitamin D mushrooms, which I've put in the sun. You can actually see a little reel or a little short on how I do that. It actually enhances the vitamin D content in mushrooms by thousands of times. So mushrooms are good, they're great, they're high in antioxidants and fiber and stuff, but then also they're a good source of vitamin D, especially in my country, in the UK, where I live, where we don't have the sun all year round. So in the winter months, you can do your mushrooms this way, process it this way if you watch that video, and see how you can actually make vitamin D from mushrooms. Yeah, it is D2, not D3, but it's a natural source, so it's not synthetic, and your body will convert it to D3. So, guys, it's one thing I've tried to do. So, anyway, enough talking. Into the recipe. Ingredients, we're going to be using the main other ingredients will be the mushroom. These are shiitake, so shiitake mushrooms, and these are king oyster mushrooms. These ones are absolutely delicious. Some fennel, peppers, and also carrots, and my broccoli stalks. Herbs and spices are integral to any of my cooking. One, I don't use any MSG, which is basically monosodium glutamate. So I have some herbal salts. You can skip this if you can't find this. Celery and lovage are like my really, really amazing herbs to add. Celery leaf powder to add to my cooking. And you can just use like, oregano, whatever you've got. I've also got tarragon. Tarragon is beautiful in cooking. That's what it looks like when it's dried. A bit of hot Cameroon pepper and Celtic salt. We don't want bland tasting food. We want it really delicious. So we add lots of herbs, and we don't also want to overpower the tamarind. We don't want to overpower the tamarind and the sesame flavor. So this is why we use all this, and also the fresh parsley and the spring onions there as well. Slice your onions whichever way you want. You can slice or you can chop your onions. And then I'm chopping up the shallots really nicely and thinly. Also, our mushrooms. Now, mushrooms, you can cut it to whatever shape you like. Next, we add some oil into a pan, about a couple tablespoons. The less, the better. We don't want too much oil. Sesame seeds have got oil in them. And then we're going to just saute our onions. So put the onions in. And also the shallots. Now, when I give these recipes, it's entirely optional. If you don't have shallot, you can do without it. You can add garlic if you love your garlic, whatever. And also, I have a bit of ginger powder and garlic powder for seasoning as well. I love adding some salt when I saute my onions. It tends to make the onions sort of release the moisture from the cells quicker and sweetens it for me. One of the secrets I've found to delicious cooking is actually having your onions saute and simmer for slowly, really slowly for at least 10 minutes. I don't time it, but I just look at it. Now it's not quite there yet. So I'm just going to cover it up again and let it simmer for a few more minutes. It brings out the sugars in the onions and sweetens your cooking. Now I'm very happy with this look. This is what I want to see. Nice and translucent. And then we'll go ahead with our mushrooms. So I've got the king oyster and shiitake. They're not fully dried, partly dried. So they would actually still have moisture in them. Mushrooms have a high moisture content. So they can still fry in this onion and just leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes again. Yes, there's no pressure when you need to make delicious homemade cooking, and that's why I always advise cooking in bulk so you can store for later, because cooking does take time. If you rush your cooking, you might not like your end outcome. Whilst our mushrooms and onions are cooking, I've got my veggies ready. Now look at the beautiful array of colors. I try to add vegetables as much as I can to my sauces, to especially when I'm having something like white rice. Now, these here are fennel. Fennel usually forms a ball, but when it goes to seed, this is what fennel leaves look like. This is from obviously the garden. I still use them. So just get rid of the hard parts, and I'm going to just chop it up and add it to this. And it adds a delicious aniseed flavor to your cooking. So fennel, if you don't have it, don't bother about it. You can add fennel seeds actually, but this is fresh fennel and carrots, peppers, broccoli stalks. You can eat this. They're so delicious. Cabbage and spring onions and parsley to garnish. And obviously, we have our tamarind and sesame. Now, we're going to probably garnish the top with the sesame seeds, but we're going to have this in here, and that's in a minute. This will give us moisture and flavor bombs. Our mushrooms have cooked for about 5 minutes. We're going to season now. Season your mushrooms like you season meat, okay? If that makes sense. I have some garlic powder, ginger, if you have it fresh, even better. Next, I told you about this celery and lovage. I don't know what the substitute is. You can actually use just the fresh celery, but lovage is a tricky one to have a substitute for. But use whatever you have, guys, and a bit of that. Now, actually, if you really struggle with transitioning from using seasoning cubes, I'll show you something you can buy. Now, this is a temporary thing. I actually bought this a while ago to do a video and it's never happened. These are, I'm not selling a brand. These are organic stock cubes, okay? They're MSG free, okay, vegetarian, vegan friendly, lactose free, and free from any preservatives. And the ingredients should be somewhere. Yeah, the ingredients are there. So if I have people that really want to cook with this, I keep it in the house, not all the time. And you can see lovage is one of the ingredients there: turmeric, parsley, black pepper, and herbs and spices. And also you've got yeast extract, which I'm not too keen on, but this is a good substitute for those of you struggling to transition. But I'm not using this today. I hardly use it. I only use it for people when I know I'm cooking for others that might be fussy without MSG, because the truth is MSG free doesn't taste the same. We can add some hot Cameroon pepper, herbal salt, optional. I have salted this, but I'll add a little bit of herbal salt because it has a mixture of different herbs. Now we're gonna mix and then put in our sesame paste. This is where we put the sesame paste in. This is about just under a cup of sesame paste. Add it to the consistency you like. So this is deliciously looking already. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our tamarind paste, about half a cup of tamarind paste. You can add less, but this is homemade. I don't know what the store-bought ones would be like. They might be more concentrated or less, but this is quite runny, as you've seen. Now, if you are allergic to sesame, you can use cashew butter, you can use macadamia, the other plants, options, or seeds, sunflower seeds can be used, but just, okay, this is all plant-based we're trying to do, so we don't want to be adding any animal cream in here for those people that are lactose intolerant, and there are a lot of people. So we cover this and simmer for a few minutes. I added a bit more herbal salt to the top, and this thing is cooked. Remember, our sesame seed wasn't raw, it was toasted. I just rinsed the jars of the paste and just add it in there. And next, we're just gonna bung all our veggies in. Literally, everything goes in at this point. So all the vegetables, I haven't chopped this yet. Guys, I'm hungry. I've already cooked my rice. So we're going to serve this thing pronto. You see, the main part of the work here is actually the sauteing of the onions and the mushrooms. Once you've gone past that, you don't need to cook your vegetables for long. So this is not, in about 45 minutes from start, including prep time, this food will be ready. So we just add everything in. And this will cook for about 3 minutes. That's it. No particular order. At this point, we just want the vegetables to be a bit tender and still crunchy. And then I'll add half of this now and half of it later. So we just stir. Our food is ready. Come. Now, this is something I was explaining. I always store food when I cook. So I'm gonna have to split this in half. Oh, guys, it smells so good and I'm so hungry. It's like I'm tempting myself with this cooking. Before I switch the heat off, I'll take out what I put away and this will go in my freezer and we can have it as a meal later. I'll show you what it looks like absolutely beautiful. See, this is the sauce. This is how it is. And I'm going to serve myself some because I'm hungry. Guys, have you enjoyed this video? Has it added any value to you? If you have, do give us a thumbs up. Kindly click the subscribe button if you haven't yet. I try. I'm not a great recipe connoisseur because recipe making is not my thing. I'm trying to show you just how you can heal naturally. And this is one of the good things so you can still enjoy your food because I had to take away animal protein. I still eat fish like 3 times a year. So that's very minimal. But those things have been inflammatory to me. And I'm not saying it is for you, but they can be inflammatory. So if you think animal protein is, I'll encourage you to take it out or reuse it. And this is one way you can do that. Can you see? Oh, I'm hungry. I think I need to start eating now. I need to sit down and eat my food. Bye.